right, this is the Knowledge Podcast presented by New Jersey Sets. My name is Kevin Gray. We're here at the district. I'm really excited to start this journey into kind of getting into what it is about basketball, creating conversations around the creatives that are leading the sport in the basketball community. So I'm really honored and blessed to be here for a session, first episode, if you will, with some of the best people, leaders, creators in the industry right now. So I don't want to say too much. I think you guys got to speak on it, but I have, former professional basketball players. I got, like I said, entrepreneurs. You know what I mean? Just some of the best individuals I think you'll find around, some of the best humans. So again, without further ado, I got Horace Wormely and Frank Robison. What's up, fellas?
Man, what's going on? What's going on?
Thanks for having us, brother.
Of course, man. This is such a beautiful place. I know, I really want to speak with you guys and have you kind of really just talk to us about this beautiful facility that we got, man, and kind of break it down in terms of the different layers that kind of exist with how this place has been built.
First of all, before Horace gets started, we have this thing, right?
I knew this was going to happen.
Let me hear it.
He always starts the conversation, but at any point, I might interrupt.
No. At about the 15-second mark.
So
I got 15 seconds.
I always give him a precursor, right? Because he's going to get in his flow, and then I'm going to stop it. So, go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, go ahead, grab the mic, say a little bit about yourself if you have to, if you want to. Let's do it. This is the forum, man, and then let's get right into it.
Yeah, we always do this anyway, so he already know how this goes, which is dope. But yeah, this really, before business partners, just want to say this my dog, like this my brother. Mm-hmm. We met low key in a brawl, kind of looked at each other like, this is stupid, and we're not finna do this.
Man,
yeah, and then
that's what the brotherhood.
Yeah, that's kind of like the the little where the intro is, and then we ended up reconnecting, 2009, 2010 season in the D League, G League now, for the LA Defenders.
Yes, sir.
Bank had, he'll probably get into his stuff, but just to get context to that, he was played with the Hawks for a little bit. They ended up going to China, and then I was already on that Defenders team, even though we were together a little bit for the summer. Mm-hmm. And he went to China.
Jaden was getting ready to be born.
His firstborn was getting ready to come into the world. And so he was like, man, I'm gonna come back to the crib. And we had been keeping in touch anyway. So when he got back,
shout out Chucky Brown.
Man, for real. Shout out Chuck Brown.
Just for context, this is like around what, 2012?
No. It's 2000. It's 2009.
Oh, 2009.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So this is. I came home right before the Lakers Christmas game. My first practice and workout was the day before, and I'm in the locker room with Kobe, which was crazy.
Yeah.
Man.
Mm-hmm. Crazy thing, I actually wasn't on the team when he got. I got cut. Like I got cut for like 5 games. Some weird shit. Did I cuss?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Cool.
Yeah, you good.
Yeah. All right.
I was about to say, what?
We good, right?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, that's fine.
This ain't no PVC.
Yeah,
No, I was just checking.
Hey, you're home. This is home court.
But yeah, I'm stretching it's a very long story, but I'm trying to get to the point. But man, we just reconnected then, and like just discovered that we share like mind, like value, and really that was I think what we identified first in each other. Obviously playing with each other, you're just gonna build a natural bond anyway. And we got to just talking about the business, the industry, what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it. Started, just coming up with little weird exercises, like we'd be in a hotel and just, lights out, lay on our back and just try to come up with the craziest idea you can.
We used to sleep for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Lay down for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Try to just visualize whatever comes to your mind, and then spit it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And from there, man, we was trying to create.
Yeah.
And it was like that every road game.
And that's the craziest thing, because this is when you guys are playing professionally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But through that, you guys have always been trying to find a way to impact the game in different ways after your careers, right?
Yeah.
So to kind of like, to kind of jump forward a little bit, we're here at the district foundation, district, not the foundation, but this is the district.
Yeah.
Built on many different platforms and stuff. And I think that, it's crazy to see that. And I love that, the fact that it's all about collaboration.
Yeah.
And so I want you guys to speak on that a little bit about, the importance of collaborating and what you guys need to see in each other, in a co-collaborator or a co-founder or a partner.
Well, man, I think where it all started, where this concept for us kind of started, man, we were working on a app, right? And this app would encompass the same principles, right? How to help people who came to LA from out of town. They wanted to prepare for training in the summer. How do we help them get the best trainer, the best medical staff, the best facility, what the certain ratings were, stuff like that, just how to connect people, right? And what we realized, man, we don't need an app for that, right? Because we're already living it, you know what I mean? And while we're trying to do this big old thing, we got back to the basics and just start connecting people, keeping in contact, building relationships, just being really resourceful, you know what I mean? And we got to the point where an opportunity came where we were able to get some equity into a sports performance company, just to help them kind of remodel rebuild their pay structure and the business development
model,
side. And man, it worked, right? And then the pandemic hit. So when the pandemic hit, we had just shifted the model. Things were going great. But what that did, it gave us an opportunity to kind of sit back and figure out how do we maximize that, right? It is sports performance, but, man, we can do more. On the heels of doing our combine, where we had 80 of the top middle school kids from California, and how do we continue to move forward, right? So the idea of building this sports facility started back in 2009.
In those rooms on the road, right?
But it was just this big old thing, right? And what the pandemic allowed us to do, kind of just get back to the basic again, right? Get back to the drawing board. How do we create something that helps everybody around us, that helps expand on what we want to do, but at the same time empowers everyone around us, right? And we called it the district. You know what I'm saying? And I'll let H, that's his thing. But
Yeah, break it down. Break down the district. I know there's meanings into things, and I know it's not just things that just, it sounds cool. Yeah. Right? Which it does, but I know there's a meaning to it, so why don't you break that down?
Yeah, for sure. Just you look at the spelling of it, right? Like it is pronounced district, but if you look at it, it can also be read as destruct. And like from the moment he and I met and like set our plans out and put them in motion, we've been out to disrupt the industry and the way that business had been done for our entire careers. So that's
and the reason why the exploitation of athletes, right? The lack of education, the lack of knowledge, right?
I think that's so important. You know what? One of my favorite things I've read about, you know what I'm saying, the things that you do, I want you guys to talk on that, is because you just said it. And I think, what I've known about you guys is that you guys have negotiated your own contracts. Right? You guys have helped other players. And that's a big thing right now. It's about ownership. It's about kind of protecting yourself. So I want you guys to talk about that a little bit, because I think that's so key, because people don't know.
There's one big moment that I want to at least address, and I know Bank could kind of take over from there. But there's one big moment where Bank was in I call his name is Frank, but I call him Bank, so sorry. But Bank was in Finland, and I was in between gigs, didn't know kind of where I wanted to go or where I was gonna go. And he actually invited me out to and flew me out to Finland, where he was. He's playing on a Euro Cup team.
Yeah, Euro Cup.
And that was probably one of the most pivotal moments. We had, talked about contract stuff and negotiated. I had negotiated my own. He had negotiated his own prior to that. We had helped some of our friends and peers to do it as well. So we had already had some elements in there of doing this. But that moment was huge because we were able to negotiate equity in Frank's contract.
And the timing of it.
Yeah.
Right. Because
Equity into the company or
into
into
the
the team?
team.
Wow.
yeah,
Was that like the first time it's been done?
I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the first I had heard of it
For
overseas.
American to do
Yeah.
it.
It's
But
big.
it was an opportunity, man. I think, matter of fact, we were just coming off our Drew League championship, right? And obviously, I hit that shot in front of Kobe. I went to school for public relations, so I'm like, I'm gonna study this so that I can protect myself while I'm playing, right? And what that allowed me to do is to know how to ride that momentum. You know what I mean? And I had offers from other countries, but I was always a risk taker with actually playing basketball. Turning down non-guarantee offers from certain NBA teams to go to Europe and see how can I like maximize my ability instead of sitting on the bench type of stuff, right? So with this particular opportunity, it was a Euro Cup team. The budget was pretty solid for that country. But I made sure that I only signed a contract that didn't lock me in for the entire season.
So you could have the freedom to leave.
I had the freedom to leave until a certain point. What the team didn't know at that time was that I knew when the second round of Euro Cup started. And if I played well, I was going to renegotiate my contract, right? So while, for the majority of basketball existent, the team has control, I put myself in a position to have control. And all I had to do was go do what I know how to do and stay injury-free, right? So 2 days before Euro Cup round 2 started, we needed one game to start to qualify for the next round. And my contract negotiations, either I could leave or stay, was the day in between second round, right?
Yeah, that's so smart. Like from training, because you've got friends and colleagues and other teammates that have been playing overseas. Have you seen that? Like, would you say that trend has like been going on since that time in your life and like in the contracts that you guys have worked on?
The trend of like
having more control of their own contracts and more beneficial to them.
Not contracts, from what I know. Like I do like try to research that a lot. They have ability to negotiate their contracts, but as far as what we were able to do with Banks' situation, I haven't heard of that. Heard of it since.
I don't think many of our peers are thinking about it, right? And I don't think, and this is no knock on any agent, but I don't think agents are taking that approach to even think that far, right? Because that's not their job, to be fair, right? Their job is to get the best deal for their client. They're not thinking about how do we get ownership. You know what I'm saying? Especially in a smaller club, I think, man, if I'm a high level player in my prime, if I take the risk on going to a lower level team and I know they can't afford me, I want equity.
Yeah.
If I'm going to put you in a position to be known around Europe and elevate your status as a club, right? I want equity in that. I want to participate on the upside of what my talents bring.
Yeah.
You know
That's a crazy mindset.
One, I think, and you have to like kind of fact check me on this, but I believe Magic kind of had something similar when he first signed to the Lakers. I think he had like this crazy 20-year contract, but he also in his contract got a little piece of ownership into the Lakers. I think that's how he ended up getting an ownership stake, and it grew. And then up to today, I think the closest is LaMelo Ball.
Oh, he's got a contract like that.
No, not his contract.
Oh, but the one in
when he was in Australia.
Got you.
They're now Illawarra. I think they were wild and gone, but Illawarra Hawks. It's something similar where he played for this team and then now was able to become an owner, right, while he's still playing. I think that's kind of the closest that I've heard. But
again, we will fact check.
Yeah.
We'll add it to the bottom of this video, and we'll say, that was incorrect.
I think I'm right though. So add that too.
But like I kind of want to take that further because kind of bringing that mindset and that knowledge to the district, and kind of speak on the mentorship and the education and the kids that come in here, and are these things that you can teach them and show them because again, you're educating them on another, you know what I'm saying, through this journey of basketball or through the game. And so maybe you can kind of go into a little bit what the district does in that field and how you guys kind of give people that education.
So the district is the house.
Okay.
Right? That's the house. Inside of the district, you have 5 companies, right? You have District X, which is sports performance. You have coming soon, Sports Rehab LA. You have the Juice Barrel. You have District Lab, and then you have District Foundation, right? Shout out John Lucas. You have JL3 Basketball, who John is one of the hardest workers that I've ever met.
He's amazing. I got to meet him at the Combine, and I was just blown away.
Wisdom beyond wisdom.
Blown away. Like, I can listen to him talk all day.
And you know, one day when you have some time, you should come see the sessions. It's high level.
For sure.
You know what I mean? But with the district, the house, we provide everything you need, right? If it's for sports performance, our coaches may be, you know, employees, but we treat them as their own entities. So you don't have to run around wearing district shirts all day. If you've been able to create your own brand, we want to help promote you. We want to help put you in a position to where you outgrow this space, right? That's the whole objective. It's an incubator system that allows you to grow. We want to empower you to build
encourages you to grow.
Right.
Encourages you to grow.
And we want to help you build your website, your logos, your branding, whatever it is, and whatever it takes for you to get up out of here, right? We want that to happen.
It's a full like an ecosystem of, you know, creativity, of passions and all that.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. And that's, you know, that's where Layer K comes, right? Like, once you're in here, you have all of our resources, you know, from a creative standpoint, from a knowledge standpoint, business acumen, relationships. However we can help, we want to provide that. Now, that's for the adults, right? That's for the people that's come, they're trying to earn money. Now, the District Foundation, we provide everything you need to help you get to the point to where now, hopefully, you can have your own business, right? But we're teaching it to the kids through basketball, right? How do we teach life skills through basketball? Mental toughness, right? Endurance, actually learning how to play basketball the right way, right? Not locking it into some system, but training you and coaching you to be the best athlete you can be, but also a conscious citizen, right? And I think Horace is, you know, better fit to kind of speak on that. But all of these things, man, it's really not about us. And I think once we realized that, you know, everything started to just go kind of smooth.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that most important thing that we noticed in both of our careers and just our relationship with one another and collaborating is how important empowerment is, right? Just like what it actually means, and how, and no pun intended, but like how important knowledge truly is, right? And how important education is, because once you become aware of something, that is what empowers you. Now all you need is the resources, or you need to be exposed. And so we're trying to cover each one of those bases. So when he mentions conscious citizens, the first thing is to be aware of, one, who you are, your value, and how to maximize that value in either on the court or whatever market you're in or the space you're in. And so we focus strictly on the whole person first before we even get to the athlete. You know what I mean? But there are ways, to which Bank mentioned, that the court becomes a classroom. It becomes a carrot. And so there are so many life lessons that we learn throughout basketball that translate off the court, that literally break the bounds of 94-50, that we just don't know how to implement them all the time. And I think that's something that between our relationship, between Bank and I, like, we just were able to kind of crack that code. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And doing your work, something as simple as doing your work early, right? What does that look like off the court? We know kind of what it looks like on the court. What does that look like off the court? So we get a chance to teach it on the court, and then go, okay, you still need to do your work early on the other side. Shout out to Mo Harkless for giving us that term, the other side, right? So that's really the key to this, one key. And the other one is showing there's other avenues. Okay, so that's one of the biggest things that Bank and I have, like, stressed or we wouldn't be here, like legit. You know what I mean? I didn't make it to the NBA. He had his stint in the NBA, but like we wouldn't have survived if we only tried to become successful on the court. And so we immediately started identifying, like, this is my skill set. This is your skill set, Bank. It's negotiation. Okay, cool. Now, we also know how to develop relationships. We also understand business strategy, business development, marketing. And we're starting to open up avenues for ourselves. So now we're able to identify it in a lot of our kids. Like, this person may be be excellent as a sports analytics person.
Right.
This kid may be perfect as an announcer or as a hosting a podcast. Like, we're able to identify that and then pull in the resources to help them.
The exposure that they're getting it's really it's huge because, you know, a lot of times they can be going through the AAU system or just playing like they play, and no one's ever showing them that you have different avenues, and that it's really not like that destination of making the league is natural. So like I've been invited a couple times to speak at like different elementary schools, and the number one thing the principals are like, if you ask them to raise their hand, you say, well, what do you guys want to do with your career in life? It's the same answer, right? Basketball player, football player, soccer player. Right. And so the reason why I love this story is because it's very similar to like me doing basketball through the jerseys, right? It's like that's just the hook. Hoops is just the hook, but I want to be able to, you know, show you like you could love this game so much. You can come in here and want to train and be the best, but through that journey, you're going to find that room has, like you said, has tech. That room has analytics. That room got that. And I think that's just such a really like a game changer, man.
Yeah.
And we have a goal, man. Every year that a kid comes in here, it doesn't matter what age. If, let's say, a group of 10, if 3 of them say, you know, I want to play basketball, but we won, right? I want to play basketball, but I want to do analytics. I want to learn how to play, how to code, right? I want to look more into content creation or production, or I want to get into mental health more. You know what I mean? Like, to me, you know, let's be honest. If maybe 1 in 100 kids get to the league, you know, from this facility, right? Hopefully that increases, but you know, the stats are the stats. If we can get the other 99 that want to stick in this industry, I mean, man, there's a hell of a lot of jobs that we can go and get them to. Understanding analytics in professional sports right now is a $250,000 job, right? If we have a program in this space, or we have the resources to provide that, we would be fools in doing a disservice to this community if we didn't introduce it and let them experience that.
Can you say that number again? What was the like an analytics?
Yeah,
analytics is 250,000.
A sports analyst, a sports analyst, or data analyst, because it's transferable. Like, that skill transfers to anything where there's data.
Gotcha.
Basically,
and that's a number that they can.
Right. Our research with the teams, like NBA teams, is 250,000. That's NBA. That's if you want to stay in basketball. Right. But you could take that same skill that you learned, having a passion for basketball, and go out of the sport, right, and still have a career, whether that's Silicon Valley or whatever else. Like, that's
job.
You know that's a hell of a skill.
And I definitely want to touch on that because I want to know more about how you guys introduce tech and just technology into what it is you're doing here. Because I know there's an app, right? So I know you guys just released the app.
Nah, it's not released. edit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's on the way. It's on the way.
It's on the way. Okay. Maybe I'm going off of seeing social media and stuff. So it's not out yet. Okay.
It's on the way.
But it's on the way. So kind of like
we do be giving little peeks.
Too much.
No, that's us. Our Instagram. Wait, go ahead.
It's so good not to post, right?
I know.
I gotta let them know. No, I really want to know more about how you guys bring in tech into this experience.
I'm gonna just start like real basic first before we get into like what the glamorous stuff is. And this is kudos to Bank, right? And you can talk more about Yair, but I just want to say we had what he calls the eye in the sky with the camera here, and I think that's the first way, especially with kids. Like, you don't really learn, or at least we didn't, learn how to watch film and really how to study yourself and become super self-aware as an athlete. At a young age, we didn't really do that. And I think Bank does a really good job at utilizing the cameras and being able to speak over it handed to a kid the day after and them not wait to watch a game of themselves if they do, you know what I mean? But they're actually getting from an elite athlete, an elite player, they're getting wisdom from, what move they should have done or how to read a certain situation. Like that in and of itself is I don't know too many places that are doing that for the kids that enter into their space, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the first simple ways of using tech.
We don't allow cameras.
Yeah.
Like outside cameras, like there's no highlight tapes, for mixtapes and all that different stuff for workouts, right? Like that does nothing for you, and we want to make sure that people know that this is a space to get better at whatever aspect, right? I was fortunate enough to meet Yair in Tel Aviv. Shout out Yair, because at 25 years old, I went from a small forward to a combo guard just by watching film. And, it sounds silly, right? Like I was able to change my entire game halfway through my career, right? And what he was able to show me about myself that I never realized because no one ever really took the time to teach me. They just wanted me to be athletic and score, right? He taught me how to slow down. I never I met him like 3 years later in person, but through film, I was able to change my game and increase my paychecks. You know what I mean? Because somebody took the time to break down every aspect of my game and put it in front of me. This is at 25, 26 years old. If we can start that in 5th grade, right? Now it's so many hurdles they don't have to go across, right? And then that's how we raise that percentage of kids that actually go Division I.
I mean, that's evolution.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, faster, stronger, smarter, I think is the biggest one.
Yeah.
Because how much stronger and faster can you get?
Right.
But once you add that to it, I think it's like you're going to see some kids go. Because I'm watching these highlight tapes of middle schoolers, and they looking real pro already with just movements. Because they're getting that.
Man, we actually have a kid that
got it off.
We actually got a kid. We actually have a kid, man. Shout out to the Harper family. Such a blessing to have, first of all. Miss Angela.
Yeah, man.
Rashad, shout out to them. They're raising a young man named Jaden. We watched this kid from last year to this year go from 6'3" to 6'6", increase his vertical. Not
all
only
in
did
here,
he get
in
taller,
this house.
not only did he grow, right, his vertical increased 7 inches, right? His lane agility score dropped 1.5 points. His ability to understand situations and to score at a high clip is insane. And we're talking about a kid that's in 9th grade, right? That's not kudos to just us, right? Like there's other trainers that work with him. But I truly believe that when you walk in here, we're giving you life, you know what I mean? And once you understand life at a certain level, basketball becomes easier. The joy you gotta have, right, when you out here, man, that's what helps you keep going. And he has that, you know what I'm saying? He sent us a message today, that I'm just continuously impressed by this kid, But we have so many examples of that. Just, he's just one.
He's just one. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's a new generation, and you guys have your your hand in that kind of like in the building of that.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be a time years down the road. It's like that's why.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that place.
Yeah,
right. And what I learned from there. Because like you said, those numbers are gonna go up. Not even for the players that make the league. It's the players that or the people that become career in the league.
Absolutely.
Or around the league or around the sport.
Absolutely.
So that's the hook, man. And
Absolutely.
I think that's the beauty of the game.
Mm-hmm.
The game of basketball. Like this is how we got connected.
Right.
And so anyone that knows me or feel like anyone I know is because of the game.
Yeah.
And it's whether it was like pickup ball or through business or through whatever it is. And I think that's like such an important story for kids to know.
It's the greatest education I ever received. Like, one, being able to play the game, like everything that I understand, I understand through basketball. Like, I can, and am writing about it all the time. Like, I'm working on a book about this, where you can take almost any concept. I don't care if it's, geography to socioeconomic status and how that works, how that plays a role. Like, I can literally take a basketball example, a concept that we've learned on the court, and apply it to that.
Which is a great point, right? and I've been, like, the last 3 months, right? I've been trying to figure out where did the term dumb jock come from? Because
it's crazy.
If we're talking, like, and we're really being serious, right? Let's just use basketball for an example. If you're an elite basketball player, right, you have to understand angles. You have to understand spacing. You have to understand decision-making, timing. You have to know how to work with others, and you have to know how to listen, right? Now, if you can have a high basketball IQ, right, if you apply that same energy you did to learn and understand basketball, you have the power to do the same thing off the court.
That's genius. You know what I mean? That's pure genius. I don't care what anybody tells me, because to his point, like, it all, not only are you understanding these things in a cerebral way, but you're tying them into how you physically move,
right,
and your interaction with other people, and be on the same page with them both mentally and physically.
I just saw like this visual of like
that's genius.
Like when you said angle, it's like geometry.
It is. That's why I said our geography, right? Like, I understand geography and dimensions because I understand spacing on the court.
Think John Lucas, again, right? We talk about John. John gave us a stat. Point guards have 55 things going through their minds.
Man, that's real.
There's a real stat.
That's real.
55 things going through their mind each possession.
Yeah, that's real. I can see that.
Who's supposed to cut here? Who's coming? Like, you're like every aspect of that.
Man,
play, each possession.
So how can
crazy.
you be dumb?
right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
So it's just, man,
it's extracting that. It's being able to extract that. I think that's what has not happened yet, and I think that's what myself and Frank are creating here in the district, and being able to extract it. Like, once you have like that central location, and you spoke to this point earlier about consistency, right? When you have that consistency, you're able to, and I say extract, but like extract, reveal, all of those things make the concepts make sense on the court, and then walk right to something else and take that same analogy, that same metaphor, that same concept, and make it and apply it to fashion, to food and beverage, to
anything.
tech, you name an industry. Like,
you see it now, right? You have Jack McClinton, right?
Yeah.
Played at Miami, all-time leading scorer, got drafted to the Spurs, played a couple years overseas, built Active Dreamers, built Loaded Doc, right? He worked on his app. He took the same thing that made him great as an athlete and started utilizing that knowledge and applying it off the court, right? It's so many examples.
Yeah.
You see Baron Davis. Gilbert started his podcast, right?
And, one of the things that, like, when you say, you have to, like, how you say you understand things through basketball. Because some people are like that. I'm like that. That's me. Like, for example, my biggest thing this last couple of months or weeks is, for example, we talked about tech. So, like, understanding blockchain technology, for example, right? So sometimes it goes over people's heads. And then when you bring in, like, let's just say NBA Top Shot, right? Understanding it through these things called NFTs, right? And, but it's like, only now are some people like, oh, that's what blockchain is, because it's using basketball. Like, I'm dying because it's kind of like how it is for me.
Yeah.
And so, like, I wanted to ask you if you knew and how to, like, explain, if you can break it down a little bit. And I know it's a side topic, but I think it's a very, very hot topic. And I just feel like
understanding, like, blockchain.
Not even that, just understanding, like, because a lot of people have been asking me, like, hey, what is Top Shot? And just because you guys have been in and I guess one of my questions about it is going back to what you said about, exploitation or monetization. Like, are these players even making revenue from their things being sold on the blockchain and through these Top Shot things? Are they making money through that? That was just a question that I don't know the answer to.
I can almost guarantee you they're not.
That's what
You
I
know
thought.
I mean?
And
And
I
I'm
said
gonna say
that's what was tripping me out
this is
about
the
it.
brilliance too of a Spencer Dinwiddie, because he is the precursor to the Top Shot, and like people having no issue with Top Shot, but having an issue with what Spencer Dinwiddie was trying to do and is doing. It just shows you the legacy of exploitation of athletes, right? Because in his brilliance, and him as a pioneer, you got to know, and I'm sure he knows he was going to take a lot of shots coming through the door, being the first one through the door. But I would almost guarantee you that players aren't benefiting from that.
And that's just to kind of, I'm not educated enough to speak on NFTs, but just to give it the NFT stands for non-fungible token. It's some kind of
non-fungible token.
digital currency that's existing on
digital
the
collectible essentially.
Yeah.
I just want to go on record saying that Horace has been talking about this since 2012, and now it's hot. I will never not listen to him again.
So
he tried to get me in Bitcoin when it was $400.
Should have listened to the man.
Man.
Yo, I remember meeting the first time I met you guys, or not you, but the first time I met you, Frank, and was back in Dina at one of the I forgot what lab that was, but
Idea Lab.
Idea Lab.
Yeah.
And
Shout out Lisa.
yeah, and
Shout out Lisa.
just even that space. Oh man, okay, we
No, she's the most brilliant.
yeah, like
I'm trying.
Every
I'm
time,
recruiting her to Laird Cake.
every time you mention Idea Lab,
That's the one you
she's the
tell.
first person, because she's one of the most brilliant people I've ever met.
but like that's the type of people I want to like tap into,
Yeah.
and so like that's kind of the point of this, and I love that you guys have that point, because that was kind of bugging me, because I felt like no one was really. I don't think they're benefiting off this at all. But sorry, man, I was just trying to finish my thought. Was that place was kind of like. It was already, there was like digital things. There was these things that we were even working on some projects that was in that digital space. And so when I'm going back to it, I'm like, wow.
You know what's interesting about the NFTs, right? And I'm gonna give some free game real quick.
There it is. That's what it's knowledge all about.
All these athletes have their own brands.
Free game? Okay. No.
All of us, right? We have our own things. We have our own brands.
Wait. Bank got a saying, so I just want to
cost too much.
Yeah, I just want. That's why I looked at him like that. But anyway, go ahead.
You know what? Never mind.
This will just be for us. We won't
all right,
post this.
Cool. So we all have our own brands, right? Mo has his own wine.
Yeah.
Pooh has Laced.
Man.
We already talked about Jack.
Yep.
Darrell has Hometown Favorites.
Hometown Favorites.
Right.
Shout out to Bobby.
Bobby Brown with What Your Ones Look Like.
Yeah.
BJ.
Yeah.
BJ has
Brandon Jennings.
Yeah, Brandon Jennings has what's it called?
Tough Crowd.
Tough Crowd. Nick has Most Hated. Right. We talk about NFTs, right? We can't create collector items for the players.
Right.
You think that's not more valuable?
Right.
That's the move.
A step beyond that is where you really like start to kind of like mess with the powers that be, is when you start to have this conversation with the college athletes.
Hey, stop that.
Too much now.
Stop
All
that.
right.
Stop that.
Cool. Just wanted to throw that in.
But no, I mean, I love that topic, because it's like it's kind of what's blowing up right now, and I look at it. I always look at it from that perspective, like kind of. I can't buy into it fully because I don't think that the ones who are getting exploited again. Yeah. It's like millions and millions of dollars being digitally, however that value.
It's a double-edged sword, though. It's a double-edged sword, because when you don't support it in a way, you undermine the actual technology that allows for. So some things just kind of have their natural progression, right? Like you start talking about like mass adoption of a thing. This is just a part of it. Right. You know, it has to come through the lens of things that the masses can understand. One, and before players in this sense can have a critical impact, the world has to understand it and be involved in it, and then the players will be able to come right back around it. You know what I'm saying? But this is a natural progression of things. So I would say to you, don't not support it because of that. Support it, but then also just on the flip side, you know, continue to push the players.
Maybe I need to reword that. I didn't say I didn't support it. I was just skeptical in terms of who's benefiting. Right? But
that
more why
is awesome though.
But why I've been why I've been so into it is because how can we use the tech just the way that, how can you utilize this to benefit you and yours?
Spencer's the best case study.
That's crazy, because I remember reading about his case, and it's just like amazing what he kind of started. And so what I was thinking was like, just kind of to your point, and I mean, this could be, you know, discussed on another level, but on another time, but taking those people, those players, and creating something in the digital world, but with physical things. Like I just read somewhere just sold.
It's on the way.
Someone, it is, and someone just sold a shoe. You know what I'm saying? It was actually like like 230,000 or something ridiculous. But they're merging, and it's happening. And it's like, happening. And you know, I just want to see athletes make sure that they can utilize that for themselves too, and not just be taken advantage of.
This is a part of it, because we've been doing it even before the NFTs, right? Like that's what fantasy sports is. That's what gambling is.
True. Like
players have been haven't been allowed to participate in the upside of
because it's so nebulous.
That's a big word. I don't even know what that means. I need to Google that.
Yeah, I just learned like two months ago. I've been using it once a day.
Make you sound super smart. I like that one.
Your guy's crazy, but yeah, man, we've been like barred from a lot of things that people have been able to like make money off of, for that we generate these numbers and all this, you know. So this is the natural progression.
That's true though, but that's what I love about kind of bringing it back to the essence of this place. Man.
Yeah, man.
It's educating the kids.
Yeah. Not only educating the kids, right? Like I want to do this because like they've been so helpful, right, in the development of this whole process. Shout out to our team, right? Like starting with Roy, who is our director of performance and also partner, Tiffany and Jeff, who are the creative directors.
Tiffany is his wife, by the way. Shout out to Tiff. She's
Robison.
And brother-in-law, Jeffrey Osborne Jr., who's our creative director, a hell of a genius.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
Got geniuses on the team.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
For sure.
And then you go down to Adamir and Chet, right, who have been with us through thick and thin. Two very core pieces to what we're doing. They both have started their own brands. Adamir has gone into nutrition to tie that into with his performance training. Chet is Mr. On Purpose, not by accident, right? That's his brand. And he speaks life into these kids, right, from his experiences with his shortcomings. But without them, first and foremost, shout out Ed Estevan, Coach Andre Chevalier, Sandy, the Sierra Canyon coaching staff.
John Lucas again, too.
John Lucas, you know, they've been really instrumental. Larry Drew Jr.,
Mark.
Coach Mark, right? Like, we have a really, really good support system. Kamayu, you know what I mean? But they've been really helpful and instrumental into what this has become. And when we talk about education and applying the stuff that we're talking about, they've done that, right? And they've educated us in ways as well. So it's truly, truly grateful for them.
Hell yeah, I love that, man. I think that's a testament to the people you are, what you're building. That it takes a community.
Yeah.
It takes a whole, you know what I'm saying, love for and faith and trust in each other to build it. And I think I see that. I think it permeates it like through what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, the next thing is gonna be bigger. Yeah. It's gonna be better. It's gonna be, the time when that hits, man. Yeah, I'm excited.
Shout out Coach Rich.
Oh,
Coach Richard Brown, former NFL player, was a coach at Azusa Pacific. Man, he's been with Roy for about 5 or 6 years. He's part-time, but man, just a bunch of wisdom.
Yeah,
he's the old head in the group, right? But he's here every day grinding with us.
Right. That's what's up, man. I definitely want to kind of like, wrap it up and leave you guys with one last thing you guys can speak on. Maybe even talk about, for anyone listening, just kind of talk about where they can find you, any of the things like that, whether it's social, whether it's website, and just kind of one last kind of message, I guess, from either you personally and or the foundation or this house you've built.
This shit is going to be hard. Don't give up. build a solid team, vet out everybody before you bring them in, and just move with integrity. You know what I mean? Don't stop dreaming. It doesn't matter, man. It's not going to be easy, and if it's easy, it probably won't last.
We have a saying that kind of just drives us. It is just who we are, and it's one hand washes the other, both wash the face, and we live by that, man. I should probably get it tatted soon. You know what I mean? Just because that's just how our world works. We're never gonna step into any situation where we're the only ones winning. You know what I mean? Anything we do, everything we do, everybody has to win. And then the face is just always about the bigger picture. You know what I mean? So if I can wash, right hand can wash the left, cool, but both wash the face. Both of us winning is great still. Like, that's what we want to enter into, both of us winning. But it also has to be about something bigger than us. And that, I would just,
that a lot of that for me, right, more so because he doesn't have the same relationship. Gilbert Arenas, right, has been extremely instrumental in, not only as a basketball player for me, but just the way he thinks, right? Like, he's not one of these guys that's just gonna go with the norm. He's gonna try to figure out, how do we win doing the opposite, right? And then another person is Rico Hines. I mean, everybody hears the sayings and stuff online, but when you have a relationship with that man, like, it's hard not to walk away, thinking outside of basketball. The term know your big picture, you know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't just mean, I'm going to be great in basketball, right? It genuinely means know your big picture, what's going to happen after that. And I think with all of these relationships, his mentors, right, they teach us things that all come back to one hand washes the other, both wash the face. And the art of being a good businessman is being a good middleman, right? And being equal to where both sides win. So these are things we truly live by. Our principles are strong. I don't think we've ever shifted from that.
Yeah.
So.
And lastly, I don't want to be found. I don't care to be found. So don't.
I will tell you.
I will say that.
The district foundation.
Yeah. That's
at the dot district.
Good job.
H changes his Instagram profile like he's running from the feds.
Dude,
So,
it's wild. It's like every time he gets, the friend request.
As soon as you get comfortable with me,
I'm
switching
switching
up cross.
Man, I'm not.
But he won't even tell me.
Yeah, not here for that.
I caught myself looking for his Instagram for like 5 minutes one day. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Who spells gingerbread man without the I? You know what I'm saying? Like,
catch me if you can. Like,
that's true. You live by it, though.
I am literally more the gingerbread man now than I ever was when I played.
So gingerbread man, you got Bank, Cali Frank, Horace Wormely. Thank you guys, man. I really appreciate the time and the knowledge you guys have kind of blessed me with. Just here, man. And then if whoever's listening to this, I think you got some game. We have to. Can't give it too much, right? Hey, free stuff costs too much.
Yes, sir.
Boy.
That's all that, man. Thank you guys.
Appreciate it.